Okay, so anyway, I thought it was funny that she said that. I would have to read over the whole part again to remember why. By the time you find him, you're boiling on the inside of your whys. You remind yourself that you need to listen to his side of the story. Be quick to hear. And also if you're really wise, you think as soon as you see the windows not done, you start to already give the benefit of the doubt. He probably had something come up. He probably wasn't feeling well. Maybe this happened. Maybe that happened. Whatever it is, it's a good reason. And then wait to hear the reason. And if it's a good reason, great. You avoided getting mad. And if it's not a good reason, you run to the Lord and have self-control. Because we need to have grace, because that goes right back to number 3. If it's not a good reason, then yeah, it's kind of bad that you didn't stick to what you said you were going to do. And now I'm disappointed and, you didn't follow through with what you said. And that's not quote unquote right. But is it better for you to point that out to him and become angry about it, or just have grace and, honor God in your behavior? I think definitely let the Lord deal with him on that, and you have grace and honor the Lord. So that's my 2 cents. First, start giving the benefit of the doubt. Second, remind yourself, listen to his side. And then if he does not have a reasonable explanation, I probably wouldn't say this sentence. I would probably do what I just said. Just be like, okay, and just give him grace and love, because I think I need to think about what I'm going to say about that. I'll be back. Would probably get my husband really mad, because I guess it all depends on the tone and the body language, but that the way I'm reading it can really come across as judgmental. Like, I cannot believe that you didn't do this, and that's judgmental. So that can be very offensive. And I think it would just stir up conflict. But every marriage is different. So if that would work for your marriage, do it. And number 5, anger does not come alone. This is so true and so convicting. My goodness. Many times anger and wrath are accompanied by malicious, which is meanness, slanderous and abusive speech, cruel statements. Yes. And it stinks because you can be upset about something and all this nonsense comes along with your anger, and then you just regret everything later. Everything's been said. You can't take it back. An evening can be ruined. A day can be ruined. The scars and the wounds that words can create are so horrible. That whole saying of sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me is like the biggest lie in the world. My goodness. Words destroy. And so I underline, it comes in an ugly package. You lay these thoughts, these things aside by thinking the right thoughts. If you think the right thoughts, like compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, patience, forbearing, forgiving, and loving, first, before you open your mouth, meanness and slanderousness and abusive speech can be avoided, and conflict can be avoided, and wounds can be avoided. Number 6, deeds of the flesh. Angry outbursts are deeds of the flesh. And the first thing that comes to mind when I think of deeds of the flesh is walk in the Spirit. We are not to be living out the deeds of the flesh. We are to be walking in the Spirit. Many psychologists instruct their clients to vent their anger. Horrible. Bad advice, because like we already talked about, you see my unpainted walls, it compounds sin. Then number 7, there's a biblical contrast between the man who stirs up anger and the man who subdues anger. And there's a handy chart there with lots of examples. But in the end, pretty much the man that stirs up anger is a fool. A fool. And I don't know why, the word foolish always makes me think of full of sh. So don't be foolish. And then the contrasting one, the one that doesn't stir up anger, is wise. He's wise, because anger subsides and then you feel like a dang fool when it's all said and done. You can't take back how you acted. You can't take back what you said. You can't take back what a fool you looked like. But if you just have self-control and you hold back your little annoying, angry, frustrated words, when it's all over, you can take a deep breath and look back and say, whew, I'm glad I didn't vent on how I felt, because I would be regretting it right now. You know, self-control, man. It is definitely a fruit of the Spirit, and it's still challenging. Number 8, pride frequently results in anger. That is so convicting, because this chapter applies to me so much. I'm like, it's just another manifestation of my pride, and it just makes me hate sin so much and long for Christ's return so I don't have to fight this disgusting sin anymore. And then I just underlined, oh yeah, that anger, something results in strife. Like when you're feeling your anger, it's going to result in strife eventually. So instead of like fueling your anger, the things you're frustrated about, the things you're bitter about, resentful about, replace them with truth, so that it doesn't all bubble up inside until it boils over and you have strife, argument, conflict, all the stuff you want to avoid if you're truly seeking harmony and peace in your home. And then, okay, your presumption will likely result to strife. That's what I underlined, okay? And then change from anger to gentleness, goodness gracious. This is like amazing, so challenging. Teaching, reproof, correction, and training in righteousness. I didn't write anything down for teaching or reproof. I would love to hear what you guys thought. In the correction, I underlined, if I had to do this over again, what would I think and do? So I think that this is just like a very practical approach, steps to changing our character, our heart, outwardly, and our heart will catch up, but doing the right thing, and the Lord will work on our heart in the process of being angry. All these examples we talked about, irritable, raging, outbursts of anger,